Hello YouTube, and welcome back to UK Highland Photography here on YouTube, the channel dedicated to helping you to become a better photographer. Okay guys, so I got an email and it said, Gareth, get out there and shoot some more videos and some more photos. So I've came here to the city of Manchester and with T-Chi. T-Chi, say hello.
Hi.
Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to experiment with natural light in addition to balancing natural light with flash. Now what I've done is I've got two SB600s set up. I've got my camera down there with an SB900, and what's happened is I'm working with the Nikon Creative Lighting System. For those of you that don't know, the Nikon Creative Lighting System works by sending signals via infrared to the speed lights. Now the reason why I've got two speed lights is because if I've got two speed lights together, then that doubles the amount of power that comes out at any one time. So let me give you an example. If I had this speed light by itself set on full blast, then that's going to fire off at full blast, and then it's going to take a while for that speed light to recharge. However, if I double the speed lights up, what happens is that this speed light on half power and this speed light on half power produces the same amount of light as this one alone on full power. Okay guys, so let's get started and let's take some photos of T-Chi on his BMX. So let's go. Okay guys, so basically have a look at this photograph now. You see this photograph? So that's the photograph taken the way that the camera's light meter suggested that I take the photograph. Now as you can see, it looks pretty dark. Now basically when I switched on my flash, have a look at the photograph now. As you can see, T-Chi is actually being illuminated from the shadows, and that's the benefits of working with flash and balancing it in with natural light. On this occasion I've been pretty lucky because I've been working with the Nikon Creative Lighting System. So that means that the whole Nikon Creative Lighting System has done everything automatically, and basically I just had to switch on the camera, switch on to the commander mode, and hey presto, that was it. I did not have to worry about setting up any additional lights. Right guys, so let me tell you about the problem it is that I've been having. Okay, I don't expect you all to understand this, so I'll try and explain it to the best I can. Okay, but what it is, what I'm trying to do, okay, is have a look at this photograph. Okay, in this photograph you can see that T-Chi is exposed, but the background is kind of dark looking. Now that's the problem. The problem is getting that background kind of dark looking. The reason why most digital cameras, most digital SLRs only have a shutter sync speed of 200 of a second. Now when you're out on days like this, 200 of a second is not enough to darken your skies. So what I've had to do is I've had to double up on my lights. As you can see, I've got one SB600 here, one SB600 here, another SB600 and another SB600. And what this allows me to do is in effect double the amount of light put that I had before. So if you remember before I had two, so that'd be two speed lights on the half power is just the same as one speed light on full power. Well now I've got four speed lights, so that would be, I could have this one set on the quarter of a power, this one on quarter of power, quarter power, and that's the equivalent to one speed light. So if I have them all on full power, then you know what I'm saying. Now one of the benefits about using the Nikon Creative Lighting System is that when you take a photograph you get beeps from your speed lights. Now if I just switch my camera on, you should now hear, oh sorry, I'm bad, let me show you this again. If I take a photograph, Can you hear that beeping? That beeping is the Nikon Creative Lighting System telling me when the lights are ready to fire again. And that is a very, very useful feature to have within an off-camera flash setup. Trust me, it makes life so much easier. Now let me get back to the point what I was saying about darkening this background and illuminating TG. Basically what I done was I got a neutral density filter, aka an ND filter, as you can see here in my lens, and I used the neutral density filter in order to bring that ambient light in the background down so it's dark. And then, like I said before, I doubled up on my speed lights, so I've now got 4 speed lights, and I used the power of these 4 speed lights to illuminate TG from the shadows, whilst at the same time keeping that sky nice and dark. Right guys, another tip I want to share with you lot is have a look at the way that TG is posed now, right? You can see him on the bike and you can see the angle he's at. Well, basically have a look at this photo now. Okay, so you see that photo. What it is, when you're working with models, sometimes a model can be just as enthusiastic about the shots than the photographer. Now on this occasion TG wanted me to take a certain photograph, but the thing was, I had seen this photograph, okay, I seen that photograph in my head, so I had to be pretty, what's the word I'm looking for, pretty much over enthusiastic or pretty insistent that I get that photograph, which was the photograph that I wanted. I wasn't being rude by saying to TG, I wasn't being rude by saying, look, no, I want that photograph. I was very diplomatic, I was very polite, I just basically expressed, look, I need that photograph. So remember, when you're working with models, don't be shy to speak up and tell these guys exactly what it is that you, the photographer, does want with regards to your photographs. Right people, we have came into this underground bridge thing for the metro link, and we've set up a photograph. This photograph I've just taken looks very cool, doesn't it? It's a very, very cool photograph. Right, come back to me and let me explain to you guys exactly how I made this photograph and what problems it was that I did face. Okay, being a new photographer, and when it comes to working with off-camera flash such as radio triggers and speed lights, you're going to find that setting up a shoot is actually a pretty hard thing to do. It's actually quite complicated. Now again, have a look at this photograph. See the way that my model is illuminated, and see the way that my background is illuminated. Now let me talk to you about some of the things that I've had to do in order to set up this photo shoot. I've got a metro tram going over my head. 1 second. Should be going in a second. There we go. Okay, so it's gone. Right, so let's start in the foreground. So if I just ask my model to come back here again, the first problem what I had setting up is because I'm working with manual flash, okay, it's not TTL, it is manual flash. So this means that you need to work out your own settings yourself. So here I've got an SB900 set on manual mode, and it's set to half power, and it's on a zoom setting of 35mm. Let me explain this. Sometimes if you don't use your zoom level on your speed light, what happens is that your lighting falls short of the subject. It's probably a bit like a handgun and a sniper's rifle. You know, a handgun only goes, a bullet from a handgun will only go so far before it drops, whereas a sniper rifle will go a lot further. So that's exactly the same how these zoom settings work on speed lights, but instead of being bullets, it's actually light that goes further or travels a less distance. Now, basically, another problem I had with TG when he was here was this area of the foreground, because what's happening is this light up here is illuminating TG from this angle, but this foreground here was basically still in the shadow. So what I had to do was I had to come over here and I had to place another speed light shooting down at this angle in order to illuminate this area and release it from the shadows. And then coming over to this side, I placed another speed light which is hitting TG directly from this angle, again giving me that extra light. But moving to the background, if we come over here, the graffiti behind me is being illuminated by this speed light. And on the other side, over here, we have another speed light which is illuminating this graffiti. The radio triggers I'm using is the Pixel Bishops. They're manual triggers, not ETL. Got another tram going over my head, 1 second. Okay, so the tram's passed. And another problem what I was working with was another problem I had was my sync speed. I had my sync speed on 2/50th of a second, and I thought that one of my radio triggers was not going off. It was going off. The problem was that I exceeded my sync speed by a tiny amount. So what I done was I used a slower shutter speed, and that allowed the flash to break through and illuminate up the area it was that I wanted it to illuminate in the first place. Okay guys, I'm going to continue and I'm going to take some more photographs of TG, but this time hopefully they're going to be some more action shots. So see you in a second. Right guys, so I'm going to pop a photograph up here now. Have a look at that photograph. You see the photograph? Okay, so that's a little portrait of TG doing his balancing act over on a rock or slab of concrete. Basically, the reason why I want to do this quick vlog is just to tell you guys, you know, you don't always need to be working with flash. I know flash is a very cool thing for us photographers and we love to work with it, but sometimes we don't need to work with it. Sometimes we can actually just complicate our photography by working with flash. And as you can see, that little shot over there which I've taken, okay, all that needs is a few adjustments in Photoshop or Lightroom with midtones, highlights and shadows, and bingo, there you've got a very good portrait of a BMXer. Now what we're going to do, we're going to head over to a new location where we're going to set up the speed lights again, and hopefully we're going to be working with gels. I'm going to see what the conditions are like in there, but we will see once we get there, so see you soon. Right people, so I've taken a few photographs of TG. Now I want to show you something, right? I want to show you something. Have a look at this photograph, okay? Have a look at the arrow. The arrow's pointing to something in the background, and basically what that's saying is that that part of the background is very dark, right? So I photographed TG from over there. I liked the photo, but it was that part of the background that I did not like. Okay, let's have a look at this, right? There's the SB600, there's TG, and over here we have two SB600s that's illuminating the background. That was the original setup I had. Again, have a look at the photograph. It looks cool, the model looks cool, but I did not like this part of the background. Have a look at the arrow, I didn't like this part. So what I done was I got under the speed light and I came all the way to the area that was giving me a hard time. Got the train coming over my head again. Okay, so put the speed light down here, and this speed light now illuminates this back wall. Have a look at the next photograph. You see that? You see how that wall is all lit up? So you now see how an extra speed light has fixed the problem. Now I'm working with the Nikon Creative Lighting System again. So how this works is that every single speed light needs to be able to see the master speed light, which is right down there. So what I had before was two of these speed lights was behind TG, but the problem was the speed lights here, the speed lights here could not see the main commander mode, which was down there. We call this line of sight. So what I had to do was I had to move these speed lights out more so you could draw a direct line of sight directly to the commander mode over here. The same is exactly the same for the speed lights down there. It needs a direct line of sight in order to take its commands from the main commander unit down there. And as you can see, that is a pretty impressive distance from the Nikon Creative Lighting System. Again, TG looks very cool, looks very hip hop, BMX, style, street, you name it, he is that. So boys and girls, have a look at the graffiti, okay? What was wrong with that graffiti artist? You know what I mean? How boring does that graffiti look? It's a good job I know a little bit about photography, because have a look at this photograph. You see that photograph? TG looking cool again, and the graffiti actually looks cool too. Let me show you what I did. Again, working with the Nikon Creative Lighting System. I installed these shells onto the speed light, and I manually told the commander mode of my SB900 to make these two speed lights group A. So both of these speed lights are group A. And I told the commander on SB900 that these two speed lights can only fire on quarter of a power. So the manual, it's not TTL, it's me telling these speed lights they've got to fire on quarter of power. Now coming over here, I've got the SB600, and this is the main light that's illuminating TG when he's doing this trick. However, the ground again was in the shadows, so what I done was I set up an SB600 to illuminate the shadows of the floor, so reveal them and give them light. And basically that is how we made this photograph. Right people, have a look at TG. See him? Right? Have a look at this photograph. Let me show you what I done. Because this photograph is more like equal in light, I then decided to, let in not as much light, whether that be ambient light or flash. Actually, thinking about it, what I done was I let in less flash. So I closed up my aperture, and again, see TG here, have a look at this photograph. It looks darker, and the reason why it looks darker is because they're letting less flash. But let me show you the lighting setup. It's all TTL, because I switched everything back onto TTL again. So we've got one light here that's illuminating them. We've got the main light, which is giving them this angle of light in, and then to illuminate the bears in the background, we have one SB600 here, and we have another SB600 here. Now, one of the problems I had, again, was with regards to line of sight. So this means that this speed light hiding in the grass over here was having a hard time seeing the commander flash on the SB900. So what I had to do, I had to go over, as you can see this plant here. I had to remove this plant completely in order to regain that line of sight for the commander flash to be able to communicate with this SB600 here, which I brought more out into the open again. So there you have it, guys. You have just watched us work with a Nikon Creative Lighting System, work with radio triggers on the shoot, which was the Pixel Bishops, which is available from our shop. Now in a setup, if we wanted to hide an SB600 around a wall, then we would have to use radio triggers, because again the Nikon Creative Lighting System works on line of sight only. So if we put one of them around there, the brick wall would block the infrared signal, which is why we would need to have radio triggers, because if it's a radio trigger, the radio waves would come along, it would bounce off the wall until it found the speed light, and then it would set the flash off. So that's why you have radio triggers in existence. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go get a bite to eat, get a bite to eat, because I don't know about this guy, I'm hungry and I'm also thirsty. So guys, we're packing up now and catch you later on.